Okay, this is slope-intercept form video 2 on writing equations. Just a brief review. Remember we talked about the slope-intercept equation. What did we say that equation was? Right, y equals mx plus b. And we said that m in this equation stands for, that's right, the slope of the graph. And b stands for our y-intercept. Right, so this is the point where our line crosses the y-axis. So it's going to be something where x is 0, and we'll have a number for y. That would be our y-intercept. So if we are given the values for slope and for our y-intercept, if we're provided the m and the b, we can put together an equation in slope-intercept form pretty easily where we substitute in our number for m and our number for b. Let's try it with a couple examples here. On our first one, they tell us that m, or our slope, is -3, and that b, or the y-intercept, is 6. How would we write that? That's right, it would be y equals m, which is -3, x plus, what's our b again? 6. Good, so y equals -3x plus 6. Now we can do that again with our second one. This one's a little different. We have some fractions in there for our slope. And what do we do when we have a negative number for our y-intercept? There's a couple things we can do. So if we did it, it would be y equals our slope, or our m, which we had as 3/4 x. Now remember, we could say plus b, so we could say plus -2, and that's okay. I take that. Or you could write it as y equals 3/4 x minus 2. Either of those are okay. If you would like to say plus -2 so you can remember, that's fine with me. If you would like to just write it as x minus 2, that's okay as well. All right, so we're going to find out how we can write an equation for a line using our graph. So the very first thing that we're going to do is find the, what do you think? And our formula, our y equals mx plus b. That's right, we're going to find the b. We're going to find our y-intercept. It should be 1 point on our graph. So it should be pretty easy to identify when we start looking at it. Then we're going to find the over the What was that again? We had that phrase earlier. It was our rise over the run. Or we could call that our slope, or our m. Now the third step, we're going to check the direction of the graph. Remember, we said a graph would be positive if it was going up from left to right, like climbing stairs, or it could be negative if it was going down from left to right, like sliding down a slide. All right? Then our very last step, we're going to substitute our m and our b into the equation. So we're going to substitute our slope and our y-intercept until it looks something like y equals mx plus b. Let's try this using one of our graphs. All right, so we said that we were going to find the y-intercept first. So on our graph, when we're looking for the y-intercept, we're looking at this y-axis and for the point where our line intersects, which if we look, will be right here. And that's at 0, 1, 2. So our y-intercept, our b, is +2. Now we want to find our slope. To do that, we need to find another point on our line. I happen to see a point down here, and I'm going to use that to do my rise over my run. So from here to get to my y-intercept, I can rise 1, 2, 3, 4 times over my run of 1, 2. That gives me a rise over run of 4/2. If I simplify that, it would be a slope of +2. Now I need to look at the direction of my graph. Is my graph going up as I read from left to right, or is it going down? That's right, it's going up, so it is in a positive slope. It's a positive direction. Now if I filled in my equation, it was my y equals mx plus b. You said our m was 2x plus our b, which was 2. So if we would write the equation of this graph, it would be y equals 2x plus 2. Let's try another one. All right, on this graph again, what's that first thing we said we're looking for? Correct, that's our y-intercept. On our graph here, where it intercepts this y-axis, right, that's the point where I see it. It's 0, 1, 2, negative 3. So our y-intercept is negative 3. Now we need to find the slope, or the rise over the run. Now last time we did this using our rise over run and we looked at the graph. Could we also use our slope formula? Remember what that formula was? Was the difference in our y values, our y2 minus our y1, over the difference in our x values, our x2 minus x1. So let's see if we can do that using our points here. I see a point on the graph here at negative 3, negative 1, and I see our y-intercept, which was 0, negative 3. Let's try and use those numbers to find our slope. Here I could say our y2 is negative 3 minus our y1, which was negative 1. So remember, minus a negative is plus. So it's negative 3 plus 1 over our x2, which I see is 0, minus our x1, which was negative 3. So plus 3. Now if we simplify this, negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2 over 0 plus 3, right? Just 3. So it says our slope of our graph is negative 2/3. Does that answer our next question about direction? If our slope is negative up here, shouldn't it be negative when we look at our graph? Let's check. As we go from left to right, that's right, it looks like we are sliding down. So we would have a negative slope. So let's write our equation for this one. We could say y equals x plus Remember, it's m first. Negative 2/3 was our m, or our slope. X plus negative 3, or some of you might want to write y equals negative 2/3 x minus 3. And either of those would be okay to use. All right, let's try 2 more, just so we know we've got it. Again, what's the first thing we're looking for? Our y-intercept. So if we look at our x-axis here, I see our y-intercept all the way up here at positive 1, 2, 3, 4. So our b equals 4. And our rise over our run, do you guys want to use the graph this time or our formula? Okay, let's try using our graph for this one. Since our graph appears to be going down, we're going to fall down 1, 2, over our run 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 over 4, we simplify to 1/2. Now, if we look at the direction of our graph, is that positive or negative 1/2 for our slope? Remember, we're reading from left to right. I think that our graph is slanting downward. Remember, sliding down means negative. So our equation is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. All right, I think you guys got the hang of it. Let's try our very last one. You guys take control on this one. Does anybody see my y-intercept? Good, right here. And so I could say my b equals -1. What about the slope? Do you guys want to do rise over run or use our formula again? Would you like to try the formula? I see a point down here at -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. All right, let's try our formula again. We have the change in our y values over the change in our x values. Remember, our vertical over our horizontal. So I could say -4 minus -1 over -5 minus 0. Remember, -4 minus 1 is like saying, minus -1 is like saying -4 plus 1. So on the top, I see a -3 over, let's see, -5. If we simplify that, it would be 3/5. So our slope is 3/5. Now let's look at the direction. Do you guys think it is positive going up from left to right or negative where it slides down from left to right? That's right, it looks positive to me. So our equation is y equals what? 3/5 x minus 1. Perfect. All right, guys. There's some practice for you on writing equations from our graph or when we're provided with the slope and the y-intercept.